everyone, and welcome to our channel, The Audible Review. Today, we've been digging into a really powerful review, looking at a spiritual classic, actually, John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress from way back in 1678. And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to figure out why this ancient text still speaks so clearly, why it's still, a shortcut to wisdom if you're feeling a bit lost.
Absolutely. And the review highlights how the structure itself is key. It follows this character, Christian, who's sort of an everyman, representing any believer, really. He's journeying from the city of destruction, which isn't just like a physical place. It's more a state of being,
Yeah.
trapped by sin, by worldly stuff. And he's heading towards the heavenly city, seeking peace, seeking purpose. It's a framework that still resonates, especially when things feel chaotic.
That framework is strong, yeah. But something the review really zeroed in on, which is fascinating, is the backstory. Bunyan actually wrote this while he was locked up in prison, which, makes you wonder, doesn't it? How did being physically confined, how did that lead to such, spiritual clarity in the writing?
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it? The argument often made, and sources support this, is that the imprisonment itself kind of purified his focus. His physical freedom was gone, so he had to focus on inner spiritual freedom. It's like he was mapping out a survival guide for the soul, showing that real progress isn't about your external situation.
That makes sense. That internal journey then becomes the absolute focus. And that brings us to the path itself, which is, let's be honest, full of obstacles we still recognize today. Christian's path has all these allegorical traps. So if we're talking takeaways. What do these classic obstacles mean for us now?
They're incredibly potent because they're psychological, right? Not just physical hurdles. You take the slough of despond. The review points out this isn't just feeling a bit down. It's that deep, paralyzing hopelessness that could hit you right at the start, that feeling that just stops you.
Yeah, stops you before you even get going. And then there's Vanity Fair, obviously back then a critique of greed and maybe dodgy market practices. But how does that translate now?
Oh, it translates perfectly. Today, it's the whole trap of consumer culture, isn't it? Chasing status, defining yourself by what you own, by trends, by likes online. Christian walks into it, sees this big distracting show. It mirrors how easily we get pulled towards things that look appealing but are ultimately pretty empty spiritually.
So the pattern here, with all these trials, the slough, Vanity Fair, even the scary valley of the shadow of death, seems to be that struggle is just part of the deal. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
And the aha moment the review stresses is that these aren't just punishments. They're meant to teach you something. Every stumble, every moment of fear, it kind of forces you back to faith and perseverance.
Exactly. Those are the anchors. But if the journey is so tough, you also need help, right? And that's where other characters come in. They offer guidance.
Right. The guiding characters, people like Faithful, Hopeful, and Evangelist, the sources suggest they're not just, convenient helpers in the story. They actually represent parts of ourselves or qualities we need to find, maybe in others too.
That's spot on. It's about that personal connection. Faithful is out in integrity, standing firm. Hopeful is that resilience, keeping going even when things look bad. They show how our inner strengths and maybe our community support, they work together. They guide Christian. They don't just tell him what to do.
So pulling this all together, the core message from the review seems pretty clear. Real progress, genuine progress. It isn't about how fast you're moving. It's not about speed or accumulating things. It's all about direction, making sure you're heading the right way, anchored by, faith, just being intentional.
Precisely. It's about being deliberate, choosing your path consciously.
So wrapping up, what does this mean for you listening now? If you're maybe looking to find that sense of purpose again or just want to strengthen your inner core, the consensus seems to be that this old book, The Pilgrim's Progress, can act almost like a mirror, helping you see where you are on your own journey and maybe clarifying the way forward.
And building on that, in Bunyan's own situation, here's a final thought to maybe chew on. Given that he mapped out this incredibly detailed path to spiritual freedom while he was literally physically imprisoned, what does that suggest about your own perceived limits? What does it tell you about the real relationship between, say, your physical circumstances and your potential for genuine spiritual liberty? Something to consider on your own path.